welcome to anyone who will be watching this recording or anyone here currently. Today we are talking a bit about collaborative app experiences in Miro. So if you're not familiar, Miro allows you to build applications and integrations using our Web SDK and our REST API. And now we're offering even more capabilities in our Web SDK to create collaborative multiplayer sort of capabilities in Miro. So today I'm going to dive into what this is all about and go from there. So essentially, if you follow our changelog, you'll notice that back in late November, early December, we released session management and attention management capabilities. And since then, we've gone even further with the collaboration capabilities. And we've actually released a brand new kind of full-scale guide to walk you through how to use session management and collaboration capabilities in the Web SDK. And so we actually have this guide which will walk you through all the requirements to work with our Web SDK and the collaboration namespace, as well as our example app called Breakout Rooms, which demonstrates how to divide participants into groups and assign them to different parts of a board. It works a lot like breakout rooms that you might use in things like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, etc. So if you are interested in this, definitely recommend checking out the entire guide, which details how participants and facilitators can be designed in an app setting. And we've got great visuals to help kind of demonstrate exactly where in our example app's code certain methods take place. So this is what I'm going to walk through today. So to start from the very beginning, building a collaborative experience app in Miro means that everyone on a board can kind of interact with the application in the same way, and facilitators can have one view while participants could have another view. Up until now, it's often been the case that you need to open an application and everyone needs to work kind of off their own respective apps. That all changes now with the introduction of collaboration, meaning that you can all interact through one kind of app experience. And this all starts with session management. Sessions are essentially the foundational component that you need to create this kind of experience. And then from there, you'll have access to a whole host of other methods in our Web SDK. If you take a look in our reference documentation for session management, I think this diagram does a good job of kind of spelling out how this works. So in our Web SDK, we have our collaboration namespace, and then within our collaboration namespace, there's a start session method. This returns a session object, which you can think of as basically like something to hold a group of the different methods you see below. So once you've got that session object, you'll have access to all these different methods to start a session, join users to a session, see which users are currently in a session, listen to events for when a session has started and ended, etc. So this is kind of the foundational component for working with collaboration namespace and more specifically sessions. So you can find more details on all these methods in our reference docs. But now I want to kind of dive into our example app itself to give you guys a better sense of what this could look like. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our example app here, which is hosted in our GitHub. You can also view a demo of what this will look like directly on our README page for the app itself. But I'm going to go ahead and just follow the instructions to get this app up and running locally. So all I would need to do is download the source code from this repo, which I've already done, the code. So I'm going to run npm run start on the Breakout Rooms example app. And you can see we have a bunch of different files here, and actually in our guide, we call out in each specific section where in the code something's happening. So I'll start with initiating a session and show you from there. But now that I have this app up and running, I'm going to open up two separate Miro boards. So the one on the left, I'm joining under my own kind of personal Miro account. And then the one on the right here, I'm joining under my my kind of Miro work account. And so these are two entirely separate Miro accounts. What I'm going to do is go ahead And under my personal account here on the left, I'm going to open my Breakout Rooms app. And you can see I've currently just got this kind of welcome screen, and it says, before starting a session, add rooms, add users, set a frame to each room. So I've set up 2 frames on my Miro board, and you can essentially think of these as frames or as rooms, 2 places to kind of bring participants to as part of like a workshop. So maybe you want people to brainstorm in 2 separate areas of the board, and you want to facilitate this using breakout rooms. So you could use an app like this to kind of control where a participant is and what they're participating in at a given time. Now on the right hand side of the screen, I'm going to go ahead and within my other Miro account, launch the same application. And you can see it says that a facilitator is preparing the session. And that's because over here on the left, I already initiated the application under this account. So now anyone who opens this app will be invited to join my session once I initiate it. So as the facilitator here on my personal account, I'm going to go ahead and create a room. So if I hit create room, I then need to select a frame. And now I've got this frame set up as room 1, and I can start adding participants to it. So for example, I'm going to add the account on the right to this room. I'm going to add another room, and then I'm going to add myself to this one. Now, before I go ahead and first I'm going to add this room to this frame. So now I've got room 1 associated with this frame and room 2 associated with this blue frame. And to give you a sense of some of the other things you can do with the collaborative experiences applications, you can use a lot of different features, but one I want to show you is the nudge that we have in this example app. So if you click nudge them, you'll see over here on the left hand side, this displays a message for the facilitator saying that, Will Bishop is waiting for you to start the session. Okay, seems like a great time to start the session. So I'm going to set a timer. We'll set it for maybe 6 minutes. And I'm going to click start session as the facilitator. And this immediately brings me to room 2 where I've been assigned. And then on the right hand side, you see the participant view, and we have information about who started the facilitation session and which room I've been assigned to. And this is basically a great example of how you could have a participant view on the right hand side and the facilitator view on the left hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and join this session as a participant, and then it's going to bring me to my room that I was assigned to, which was this room 1. And you'll see over here on the right hand side, I've got this message letting me know which room I was assigned to, and the timer is running to give me a sense of how long I'm in this breakout room, so to speak. When the facilitator on the left hand side wants to finish the session, maybe they want to end it before the timer goes out, they can click finish session. And then it's back to kind of the default screen. If I go ahead and delete these rooms and launch the app again, you'll see we're kind of back to, waiting for me to start a session over here on the left-hand side. But now I want to walk through a bit more detail of where some of this is happening in the code. So let me start from the very beginning again. I'm going to create a room. I'm going to add a participant to it, and select a frame, add another room, and select that second frame again, wherever that is, up here, swapping them this time. So when I go ahead and click start session, this is really that foundational piece I was talking about before. And if we look at the app that we've set out here, you'll find details spelling out where in the code something happens. So in our example app, the start session button is directly related to the use of the start session method in the web SDK. So if we go to the hooks.tsx file, we'll be able to find this in our code. So within my application, I'm going to go to hooks.tsx. And if I type in start session, you can see that we're calling the start session method here on line 320. And we're going to give one parameter, which is the name of the room, which is based on the name of the frame that we have here. So you'll see if I click start session, go back to the participant view, this room 1 is coming from that frame title. And it's also got the name of the user who is the facilitator. Let's look at a couple of other methods we're using. We're also using the notifications.showInfo method to display notifications, such as when, as I mentioned earlier, there's that nudge button right here. If I click this, it's showing this notification to the facilitator. And that is happening in the Breakout Manager.tsx component. So in our code, if we go to Breakout Manager.tsx, we'll see in here somewhere we're calling the show notification, show, is it show notification? Let's see. Yeah, show info, apologies. So we're using board.notifications.showInfo, and it says, current user is waiting for you to start the session, which is exactly what we experience when we use this nudge feature. Going a bit further, we've got the session join method that's being used to bring that participant into the facilitator's session, which I showed earlier. We've also got the events.broadcast method. So this is a real-time event being used to show a notification in a different format, such as over here on the left-hand side, which is a really great way to communicate actions or changes on the board. And we're using this real-time events broadcast method in the waiting room component. So if we go in here and we go to waitingroom.tsx, you're going to see that we've got a real-time event that we're broadcasting here to the current user on the board, and all sorts of good stuff here as well. So there's a lot more that can be done with collaborative app experiences. Our Breakout Room app is a great example of kind of a basic sort of way to divide facilitators and participants on a Miro board, but you can think of other places or ideas that would really be suited for this type of collaborative experience as well. For example, things like icebreakers and quizzes, where you want everyone to be able to participate kind of, in real time, or something like a poll. We've shared a bit of inspiration about what this could look like. You could have the ability to invite people to join a poll, much like if you've used, Slido or Kahoo or something like that. And so you can get a sense of how it would be cool to get everyone to participate in a poll in real time, and then you could also add the results directly to the Miro board. So if you are interested in building a collaborative app experience, definitely recommend starting with this guide, which can be found in our Web SDK tutorials, and also checking out the session and collaboration reference docs. And then beyond that, being able to review all of the code we've provided in our example app and all the different methods that we're utilizing here, which again, you can find detailed descriptions of where in the code something's being utilized right here in this guide. So that is basically it for today's developer Q&A session. Just a little bit about our new collaborative app experiences. Hope it's helpful. If you have questions, feel free to hit us up on our Discord channel and give this video a like. Thanks a lot for joining today.